Hey YouTube. So behind me are two of the BPC dorms. So we're going to do a walkthrough and I'll show you what kind of features they have available to anybody that's coming in and any considerations that you might have as far as like living arrangements. We'll talk about the internet speed, the beds, your furniture arrangement, what kind of kitchen setup you might have, and the restrooms. So in front of the BPC here I have a barbecue pit, and off in the distance you can actually see another barbecue pit at a gazebo outside back patio area. And this is basically a standard gazebo type pavilion that they're kind of spread out all over between the dorms, and you can come out here, hang out. It's more or less an impromptu smoker's pit, but basically every dorm has some form or fashion of this layout. You'll have a barbecue pit accessible, and you also have like this kind of free space to get some privacy and some solitude. So free water is provided to all dorm residents or residents of Udeid. Every building basically has a pallet stacked in front of it that is free to take, and following the Air Force motto of hydrate or die. So if you need water, it's on the house.
Okay, so here we have is the basic dorm. As you can see, it's not real big, but we have all the necessities. There's a desk for doing homework or talking to family, setting up your computer, playing games. There's a TV stand, bookshelf, bunk beds. As you can see, I do share this with another individual. There's an easy chair, and then we have our little sink area. So kind of our half bathroom. It isn't the biggest or most luxurious setup, but it is better than being out in the field. It's kind of nice that you do have the privacy of your own sink and mirror to get ready. And then we do have our own little closet, and we have to share that one. No actual wall lockers, surprisingly. Down to the kitchen.
We have the kitchen. So while you don't have an actual full stove, you do get a microwave, a functioning sink, small fridge, and you can set up with any kind of electronic cooking utensils that you might want. I have a coffee pot and a blender. It's kind of standard. Most of this stuff was left behind. A small table, but be mindful, you can't necessarily do some full-on cooking. And then of course you have a small shower. Now this is actually a suite. So this room actually leads to someone else's full layout of dorm.
Here we have the washroom, so you can wash your clothes. It's actually right down the hall, so it's really convenient, and it doesn't actually get too packed, so it's pretty nice. And we have some of the common areas in the dorm. So there's some public restrooms that usually get pretty filthy because people treat them like public restrooms. But one of the nice spots is there's a TV lounge area, and every dorm has one of these. It actually has a widescreen TV and some couches or whatnot. So you'll see people hook up their systems down there and play games and whatnot and watch movies.
All right, YouTube. So now that we're here in the dorm, I'll cover some of the basics. So these are things that make your life a little easier if you know this coming in. So showing up to the dorms, first thing you'll notice is that pretty much everybody is living in the same conditions with a few exceptions. If you're E5, E6 and above, as it's standing right now, you'll live in the BPC dorms. And what is the rule for you having a roommate? Well, if you are a 6-month employer, you will more than likely have a roommate. And this is kind of a hard and fast rule, actually. So you can expect that your roommate will be of a relatively similar rank. So I'm a CGO, I'm also with another CGO, but it's not uncommon, especially when the pressure's on to get people in and out. You can see senior master sergeants or even captains with airmen. So Obviously, these are more temporary situations, but it can happen. The other thing is your roommate won't necessarily be on the same time schedule as you. So in my own case, I'm actually a day shift individual, but my roommate is a night shift, so he works swings, which once you get used to it, it's actually pretty handy because it gives me privacy. So when my roommate's at work, I'm typically by myself, and vice versa. When he comes home, I'm either asleep, or once I leave for work, he's by himself, so he gets some privacy. And one of the things you'll notice at Udeid is privacy's kind of hard to find, and it's key to kind of finding your happiness, because social interaction is not a problem here. You're either working or you're sitting next to somebody or within eyeshot of someone. So just keep that in mind when you do get the privacy. Enjoy it because it's nice and it's a way to kind of recharge your batteries. Second thing is that the dorms or all the buildings here, with of course, some of the operation side, you'll have standard power supplies, but inside of the dorms, at least in your living arrangements, you will actually have UK style plugs. So these adapters are everywhere, and anything that you have, like if you have a laptop or a gaming system, it needs to be set up for 220 volt. Now these adapters, they sell them, most people are probably gonna leave them behind in their room, but check your power supply or your power adapter for your device. I know some of the older Xboxes, for example, were not rated for dual voltage, so if you plugged them in, you'd pop it. But for the most part, the average cell phone charger, the average device that works off a USB is dual voltage, so that won't be a problem. And again, these are kind of everywhere, so it's not too big of a deal. And then dorm integrity. So dorm integrity is like a new concept here. We don't know if they're actually going to roll out with it, but dorm integrity is essentially housing people together with their unit. So if you have a specific unit, you can imagine that they will be likely living within your specific dorm area. And the idea behind this is more accountability, imagine recalls or after hours situations, getting rides to work, that kind of thing. It's supposed to kind of ease some of those tensions of people being more spread out. And then let's think about males and females. So males and females, of course, the standard is that males and females will be separate. They can still, here in the BPC dorms, they can still be on the same floor, separation, but you are not expected to have, if you're a male, a female roommate and vice versa. So if that's a concern of yours. And then there are some specialized dorms in the BPC. So they have some dorms that are situated for higher rank individuals, certain dorms that are situated for the coalition partners that we have here. So, there are a lot of different forces from different nations here, and some of those, they have their own kind of spaces. They have their own little community. So it's kind of a neat site if you want to trade patches or, practice a foreign language. It's pretty cool. But all in all, we can imagine that most of your amenities are here within the dorms are pretty locked down and straight. So some other things to think about is the AC cold? Because we are in the desert. I will say that the AC is actually pretty consistently good. There's been a couple nights where I guess they're doing maintenance or whatnot, and the AC has kind of gone to where I'm waking up a little sweaty. But for the most part, the AC has been good. The other thing is the internet speed. So you aren't going to have a lot of options when it comes to internet unless you buy your own puck from one of the cellular services that are here on base. And there's a vendor at the BX that sells internet pucks, and you can get internet that way and buy your own plan month to month. But there also is the option of getting premium Wi-Fi. Premium Wi-Fi, I've heard mixed reviews. I don't know if it's worth it. I couldn't tell you if it's worth it. I don't use premium Wi-Fi myself. It's not really necessary for my purposes. But all the dorms and all the living arrangements actually have free Wi-Fi. It's called CAF Wi-Fi. And for the most part, here in the dorms, the speeds are relatively good. I use it to watch videos, chat with my family back home. Don't have issues when it comes to genuine speed, although coverage sometimes is lacking. Now, I don't know what the solution to that is, and if it's just my dorm where I'm situated, I don't know. But for the most part, unless you're an extreme gamer or you're doing some crazy day trading or something like that, I don't think you necessarily need the fastest, most premium internet. And again, buyer beware. I haven't heard you know, whether or not it's consistently recommended. So all that being said, you know, the dorms are actually pretty decent. They're a little tighter than expected, tighter than what I was used to in my enlisted days when I went through tech school, but of course better than BMT. So for 6 months or a year, it's doable. And for the most part, you also do have all the things you need relatively close by, within walking distance. And I'll cover that in another video as well. All right, so that is the Udeid BPC dorm layout and walkthrough. So if you have any other questions, you know, throw them in the comments. Maybe I can answer them before I leave here. I still have some time. And like always, be safe. Don't forget OPSEC, and God bless.